afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here today for what will be the final press conference before the head-to-head to talk about the World Championship Boxing that is being presented by Frank Warren on the 19th of December at the Manchester Arena, headlined, as we all know, by Andy Lee against Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. First of all, just going to talk about the main event, try and say a few things that haven't been said already, but I think a lot of it has been covered over the past, few months, obviously with the two postponements, but we are on again. We have got to make sure we've kept the fight alive, and it's it's fantastic for the paying public, the boxing public, and the sporting public that these two guys obviously are determined to fight each other. Fair play to Andy for keeping it going as a champion after Billy's after Billy's injury. He still wanted to make sure he guaranteed Billy the shot, and Billy's very determined to make the most of that and take advantage of this opportunity that he's worked very hard for. First of all, just to introduce the champion to my left, Andy Lee. Done it the hard way, taking the title from a very talented Matt Korobov, and putting in a performance that a lot of people didn't think he had it in him. But he dug extremely deep, pulled it out the bag, and went on to make a very impressive performance against Peter Quillen. Again, dug extremely deep, and got the result that he certainly deserved, and was, I think, unlucky not to go one better and get a win. But he's got a guy to my right, Billy Joe Saunders, who's obviously coming to fulfil his lifelong ambition, lifelong dream of becoming a world champion. It's a 50-50 fight, as far as I'm concerned. There are no favourites in this one. Obviously, I'm rooting for Billy Joe Saunders, but you wouldn't begrudge either guy a win on the night, because you will know that the winner of this fight will be the best man on the night. And I think these two are the epitome of sportsmanship and what boxing is great, why boxing is great, and what makes it one of the best sport in the world. Billy Joe's looking to prove what we all believe, that he's world class. You've had ridiculous statements made by other middleweights over the last few weeks, but Billy Joe has got every right to say that he is world class. He's beat everybody around him in this country and beyond, and beat them well. I think you look at the guys on his record, and Spike, John Ryder Blackwell, and Junior. He brushed them all aside. He put them all to one side, and he's got his reward, which is a potentially lifting that belt above his head on the 19th of December. And he's obviously looking to keep hold of it. And after one, like many thousands of fans across not just the UK but across the world, will be sitting in the seats on the 19th of December. We also have on the top table, just go through the guys here to my far right, Jack Catterall, we have Tommy Langford, and we also have the new super welterweight WBO world champion Liam Smith, and they will all be fighting on the card on Saturday, 19th of December. I'll start with Jack. Been going through the rankings, making a good name for himself. I think he's still looking for that sparkling performance that we all know is in him. He's had some tricky customers, and I think finding it quite difficult to match Jack and get him to guys to come and have a fight with him. The lad from Finland came last time, and they both had the same record, 12-0. And once Jack caught him a couple of times, he wasn't particularly interested in standing there trading, which was quite disappointing, because I think Jack and I both felt that might be a bit of a slugfest, but it wasn't to be. But again, showed his maturity and came through it well. Tommy Langford, he's again, same as Jack, he's making his way through the rankings. They're doing it impressively. Tommy doesn't waste any shots, which I think is the most impressive thing about him. He's very economical in what he does, and it looks extremely classy. And I think in that respect is quite similar to Liam. It's very, very, you know, he works extremely crisp and extremely clean, and really enjoying watching Tommy make his progression, and hopefully he'll continue to do that on the 19th. Very excited to tell you that Liam Smith will obviously be fighting on the 19th. I'm not really sure exactly how to tell you how excited I was for Liam after that fight. After he won the world title at the arena a month, 3 weeks or so ago. And in that such an impressive fashion. First couple of rounds, I thought, you know, Liam just did what he does best. He sort of sat back and worked the guy out. But then after that, just, you know, teed off on him, and just was so impressive, so accurate. And it was just delightful to see it. I was going about Liam's smile, and it was finally totally there and fully out for everyone to see it, and rightly so. The big fights bring out big performances, and on that evidence, it brings out big punches as well. That was a proper knockout, and we've got a proper world champion in Liam Smith, and one that I hope and believe that he will continue to reign as a WBO champion for a long time. Been a bit of back and forth on the Twitter or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, between Liam and a certain Shane Mosley. That is a fight we'd love to make for the 19th. Shane, if you catch this on anywhere, on the net, or anywhere, I'm sure Liam's got a few words to say about it as well. Come over. Put your money where your mouth is, or put your gloves where your mouth is, and take the fight against Liam, because we'd love to welcome you with open arms, and you know, bring your team, bring your entourage, bring whatever you want, because at the end of the day, this guy's got everything it takes to do what we, you know, to shut that mouth up that you opened on Twitter. It'll be a great fight, a great event to have a legend like Shane Mosley here, but at the end of the day, Liam's the main man now, so. You know, if you want to come and prove otherwise, Mr. Mosley, welcome to Manchester. The guys will go one at a time, just to say a few words, and then just run through the rest of the card. Jack.
Yeah, just a quick turnaround from the last fight, so excited obviously back in the gym now. The card, another great card to be on in Manchester. Just looking to get a good fight and put the year to an end. Get another good win, and hopefully some more big fights in the new year.
Thanks. Tommy?
Obviously it's a massive card to be on. It's the biggest card, biggest card of the year, and I'm really excited to be on it, and you know, on the undercard. And me and my manager Jason have been throwing a few names around, so it's looking like we're going to have an exciting opponent, and someone that's going to bring it and be a good performance on the 19th of December.
Thanks, Tommy. Liam?
Glad to be back up early. You know, I asked the question, do I want to have a rest and go away? I said no. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like defending a world title. I'm privileged to be on a bill with the main event. No, fingers crossed that goes ahead. You know, they're probably sick of the sight of each other, but you know, I'm hope the whole card goes ahead, because it's a great card to be on. I'm excited for December the 19th.
Billy?
Yeah, just want to say, finally, you know, once again, sorry for all the delays, but this time Lim's saying going ahead, and you know, it's a good achievement to look where we've come, and you know, from where we started and fighting for world titles. But you know, it's not only a good fight main event, but we've got a good billing in. You know, you got, you know, some of the best prospects probably now. Obviously, world champion beside of me on the card, so just like to say, you know, get your tickets, get buying, and you know, we're sick of all the talking now and going through it. We just want to get in there and, you know, do what we do best and fight.
Thanks, Bill. Andy?
Yeah, it's a privilege to be topping a bill with this calibre of fighters on the undercard. You know, Liam Smith could top his own card after his last performance, but it's an honour to share the card with him and all the other fighters on it, some of the best prospects in the world, not just in England. And you know, for me, I'm sure it's the same for Billy Joe. We've done a number of press conferences now and these type of things. Unfortunately, the fight's been postponed twice, but now it's going to happen. And the next time we see each other will be in, you know, fight week, and we'll have our game faces on, and it'll be time to go to work. So let's all have a good training camp, work hard, and turn up and put on a great show for you here in Manchester on December 19th.
stay safe. Just run through the rest of the fights that are going to be taking place on there. Derry Matthews will be featuring in a championship bout. As for definite, Derry will definitely be out. We're going to have the WBO Intercontinental Super Featherweight Championship between Mitchell Smith and George Jupp. Looking forward to seeing Mitchell up here, showing the rest of the UK what he's been showing us in London. We've got Paul Butler, will be fighting for the vacant WBO European Super Flyweight Championship. Obviously Paul looking to get back into world title contention early next year. Also a potential fight with Jamie Conlon, which is, keeps being talked about, but it's a fight I would love to see happen. We also have Liam Williams is back. He'll be defending his Commonwealth Super Welterweight title. And Adrian Gonzalez will be following up that fantastic win over John Cage, defending his WBO Intercontinental Lightweight Championship. We're looking to make as many 50-50 fights as possible. Not mismatches like we saw at the weekend. These are proper fights, proper fighters, and proper nice boxing. And it's something that we at Queensbury Promotions we strive to do. We want to make sure that the fans are entertained, that also our boxers progress properly as well. They don't get anything out of blowing people over in one or two rounds. It's not unless they've got standout performances. Like I said, mismatches don't get anyone anywhere. Don't get the fans value for money. They don't give the fighters the experience and the education that they need at certain stages of their career. Very, very proud to be part of what we do. Proud to be on live and exclusive on BoxNation again. I just want to thank our sponsors, Coral and Rainham Steel, and look forward to a fantastic night's boxing. In the meantime, if there are any questions, we'll take a few questions now, but if not, then we can break for one-on-ones. So, guys.
Yeah, and how close are negotiations with Shane Mosley and Liam? How do you see that fight going?
Do you want to answer first?
Yes, please.
It's a fight we'd love to make, a fight we hope will happen. That's pretty much as far as I'm going to divulge at the moment. Liam always started the ball rolling himself, to be honest. So it's a great fight. It's an entertaining fight. It's a marquee fight as well, and one that would be fantastic to have to this card.
It's a fight I'd love. It's a fight I'd be honoured and privileged to share a ring with. He's been a legend over his time, but I do think he's past it a bit. I do think he's still got a bit left. I think he still can whack. He's still got a speed, but it's thrown in. I don't think he throws it that much no more. So I'd be massively confident if that fight was made, but it's a massive fight, and being realistic, it's probably one that could warrant its own bill. So maybe more realistically, could be March or May, maybe back in the pool. Who knows?
March or maybe.
Are you calling anybody else out on Twitter at the moment?
Not in the band.
Working with people around the world?
I never even called him out. I mentioned his name like just be privileged, you know what I mean? I'm getting called out by people who never won a bit of title, Cochran and Liam Williams and stuff. Now, I said, now, what if Shane Mosley calls me out because he called the other titleist out? So it was just, a figure of speech. I just mentioned his name as an example, and then he jumped on it. Just started giving me a bit of stick.
He's keen, that's why.
Any other fighters been in touch?
No, not to me. I'll leave that to everyone around me.
Francis, this is possibly the best quality bill in Manchester for many years.
Since the last one.
A huge question, but I mean, how difficult has it been to put this together in terms of the quality going all the way down the line?
It's not difficult when you've got guys who want to participate in quality fights, and we're lucky enough to have a stable of fighters and a group of guys that want to be involved in top level fights, want to be involved in fights that entertain crowds, and also fights that progress their careers. I think if you've got guys who would just, do you fancy that fight, do you fancy that fight, it's got to get you somewhere. So I think in terms of progressing careers, there's no one better at him than the dad and the team that he's got around him, full stop. And the fighters we've got, I think, are second to none, the best in the country.
Francis, you mentioned that Liam Williams will be on the card. Is there any chance of seeing Liam Williams v Gary Corcoran in the hope that they get a step closer towards Liam?
I think Liam Smith's well ahead of both those guys. You know, people were talking about Liam Williams a year ago being like, on Liam Smith's coattails. But he's had a lot of time out with injuries, and since then Liam's kicked on massively, and he's now world champion. So I think you know the guys. I'm not saying level below in terms of skill level. I'm talking about progression of career. Let them all work out between those guys who's the best at them, and then we'll have a chat about who's going to be challenging Liam Smith.
Any chance of seeing Liam Williams versus Gary Corcoran?
Hopefully, that's a good fight. That's a really good fight.
Question to Andy and Joe. I mean, with the stop-starts in the preparations, I mean, how difficult has it been for you guys to stay focused on this fight? I mean, it's going to happen, then it's gone off, and then it's going to happen, it's gone off. I mean, difficult to prepare at this sort of level for that type of contest, no?
Yeah, I think that obviously for one it's frustrating, but you know it's not the first injury I've had, and probably won't be the last. You've got to get on and deal with it. You know, you can sit down, feel sorry for yourself, but you know the reality is that I'm going to be fighting for the world title. So you know I've had to maintain my head, keep my head straight, still tick over, just keep things sensible. And as I say, I'm off to Spain later this week, and you know I've been training hard back here, but when I'm out there, that's when you know all the sleeping pattern, everything all kicks in, and you know the real serious stuff gets down.
Andy, anything changed for you in the preparations?
No, it was always going to happen. Him being the mandatory challenger and having signed the contract, just a matter of when. And you know, injuries are common in boxing. Unfortunately, you know, twice to the same fight is maybe a bit unusual, but just a matter of when, you know, not if. So just staying focused, same as with Joe, staying focused, not getting away from the gym too much, keeping in touch with it, and just waiting to see when it was going to be rearranged.
Manchester's a great fight city, but is there any tinge of disappointment that this fight's not taking place in Ireland for you?
I'm pretty much over that now. At the time when it happened originally back in August, yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking. But yeah, just move on, put it behind me, and yeah, now I actually fought in the Manchester arena before, and been there for a couple of fights. I was there for Liam and Terry Flanagan's fight. That was a great atmosphere. I look forward to coming on and putting on a good show.
Really, Joe, there's obviously a lot of respect between you and Andy. Do you get frustrated when people say there needs to be some bad blood for this fight to sell?
You know, people like to see the animosity, but you know I think that you know Andy's a world school proven world champion. You know, there's no need. He's said nothing out of line towards me. You know, if we sit here slag each other off all we want, you know, but the fighting does the talking, and in our culture that's the way we've been brought up. So no, really, I think that I expected this sort of fight to play out like that, but this fight is going to be interesting fight. I don't think nobody's going to be running nowhere this fight. You know, it's going to be a proper fight. So there's no need to be talking it up, because in my own head I know what sort of fight I'm in for.
When you fought you back Jimmy at Bully Joe, I mean, obviously there was a bit of personal animosity and a lot of hype and things like that. I mean, how difficult has it been to get the motivation up beyond the title here to fight Andy? I mean, you know, it's a very sporting contest this. It's obviously two great fighters,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, how difficult is it to get your blood up for this?
Not difficult at all. Looking at that belt gets me blood up for it. Do you know what I mean? What I've been training for all my life. I mean, I haven't been beaten on home soil since I've been 12 years old. So, you know, it's a good record to have, and you know, I'm still holding on to that tightly. And I can, please God, I can continue that and take that belt on the 19th.
Did you watch Chris Eubank's fight with Tony Jetta?
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it, yeah. Not really, no.
What did you hear about it?
Well, it's just he's fighting and
Not much. It was about
yeah, bin man, where
about 4.5 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. It's just you can't gauge on opponents like that. To be honest with you, I don't reckon opponents like that should be allowed in boxing. I don't think, because you could go to the pub, pick someone up drunk and give a better fight.
Liam, are you still picturing yourself that when you wake up in the morning, as the title champion of the world?
No, I've had enough time to do that, and I've got to focus on defending. If I keep doing that, then you won't take me off the ball for my first defence, and if I lose at my first defence, you know, I'm not going to then remember for anything then, am I? So I think I have to just put that behind me now and concentrate on December 19th and, you know, start proving myself to be a worthy world champion.
How pleased are you to have won the race and Smith now? So,
It's kind of it's a bit sweet, like, but only because I was getting all the, the well dones and all the publicity over it, but so they're not too bothered, just as long as they're happy with me winning it, so it's the first one, but it won't be the last.
Jack, can I just ask one last one, and to Tommy as well? I mean, it's a massive showcase for you guys, this fight. I mean, how inspiring is it to have champions of this quality at the top of the bill, and it's something to aspire to, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously I feel we're really privileged to be on such a massive show, with the likes of Andy Lee and Billy Joe topping the bill, and obviously Liam Smith on it as well. That's the goal, to fight for a world title, and obviously then being in the middleweight division as well. Then it's good to be on the same card and to look at that. And I've got aspirations to top my own bills in years to come, in arenas and whatever. So it's a real big privilege, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I was dying to get on this card. I was making phone calls every day to try and get on it, and luckily I have. So I'm really pleased and looking forward to it on the night.
Jack, same?
Yeah, just like Tommy said, it's a great platform for us to be on. Obviously, numerous world title fights, so seeing these world titles at all the press conferences gives you that extra motivation. Obviously, that's the dream, to become world champion. There's no doubt in my mind that one day I'll be sat here with one of those belts as well.
I guess you made a big impression against Tom Stalker, but a couple of sort of more messy fights since then, and you've been looking to sort of come up with a cleaner win, if you like, will you, this time?
Yeah, I've had a few tricky customers, but I don't think no fight goes perfect. I'm still learning all the time, in the gym learning, and more importantly in the fights I'm learning. So I say I'm happy with the performances, but hopefully in December I can get another good opponent and get a good win.
I don't think Jack will ever get frustrated in the future. That's all out now. He's learned how to deal with probably the definitely two trickiest customers that he'll ever come across. So, like I mentioned earlier on, learning fights. No easy fights. And I think all these guys will tell you there shouldn't be any such thing as an easy fight. But I'm sure a few of them would prefer one sometimes. Is there any more questions?
Bill, what's your problem with Katie Hopkins?
Not really no problem. I don't know. I see something on Twitter. She puts like gypsies should be burnt or something. Yeah, she put gypsies ain't human beings, so I'll just give her a bit of abuse. But I ain't got no problem, but
She said what?
I don't know, look at Twitter, something like that. Could you see what'd she say? To be fair, I couldn't read the word that she said, but I know it wasn't
She said that travellers are people that commute to work and that go on holiday, and gypsies are feral humans.
Yeah.
And they don't serve any duty to society.
She says charming. Do you not know she's going to be ringside guest in Manchester?
Guest of Andy's, not mine.
It's supposed to make a promoter's job slightly easier.
No, in fact, I think it's sometimes it can sometimes make things a lot more interesting. So we've got Liam's situation with Shane Mosley, but that's a fight that could be made hands down any time. 9 times out of 10 though, it makes it trickier because you get guys who might want to call each other out, or then the verbals will start, and then suddenly it's a fight that everyone wants to see, but sometimes it's a million miles from being made, and it makes us look like it basically it just makes it a lot trickier. But it's entertaining.
Andy, what do you make of Andy Booth linking up with Eubank? And is that a fight with Eubank? Is that something you can see yourself in?
I don't think I'll ever fight Chris Eubank Jr. I just think we're going in different directions, I know the trajectory of my career, where it's going, and if I keep winning, that is. And he doesn't figure in my plans, but I think it's a good move being to train with Adam. From what I can see, there's not much direction towards his training, and with Adam we'll try and bring a bit of structure, I guess. But I think it's a good move for him if they can work together. We'll see.
Francis, last question. Paul Butler, obviously another great fighter on the bill. How far is he off getting another title? I mean, you mentioned Jamie Conlon, but is it possible that he bypass that and go straight for a world title?
Depends obviously what opportunities come up. Paul's capable of mixing it now. but you know, I think it's about getting there, improving the rankings, and making sure that he's in a position of strength to you know, I suppose negotiating wise, to be ready to challenge again. Is Jamie Conn fight entertaining? Yes, it is. Is it necessary for Paul Butler? No.
Is it better for a world title?
Is it a fight that we hold off on until one of them have got a world title? I think you know maybe that's an idea, but I think either way, if you ask both of those guys, do you want to fight early next year? They'd both say yes, because you know, they're fighting men like all these guys, and they're not going to turn the fights down. But I think I prefer to see that fight with Paul with a world title. But anyway,
What's that moving on? I presume there's going to be some kind of fight for the IBF title?
Tata Tete. So I'll tell you what, that guy's impressive, Tete. I think if you watch that fight back, even if you sat with Paul Butler and watched it, you'd still be impressed.
He's not hanging around that bit, is he?
I think he can move up a couple. Even now, I think he'd go up to two more divisions and challenge. He's a good fighter.
Francis, what's the reason why Terry isn't on the bill anymore? We received an email that went around.
Terry's just got back from obviously a well-deserved break, and as far as I know, this has literally just happened in the past hour and a half. Probably not even that long actually. But Terry's not going to be on this bill. That I think he just needs a bit of time. I think we worked out Bill earlier on. He's had 17 weeks in camp, consistent camp. Add another 7-8 weeks to that. That's it's a long time to be training flat out. His performance against Magdaleno, maybe he was just in a hurry to get out of there because he just needed a break, but good because it was sensational, absolutely cracking performance, and one that he maybe feels like he needs to have a break to get back to that peak again. So this is only the guys know how they feel within their bodies and what they're capable of doing. And if Terry feels like he needs to have a little break, and that's Terry's prerogative. I'm disappointed, obviously, that we're not going to get to see him out again. There's another lightweight not far up the road that I felt would have made a great fight, but it's one to look forward to. It keeps us all waiting a little bit longer, and make sure that we are going to be back in Manchester again early next year.
Is that definitely a fight that you're looking at making on?
Why wouldn't we want to make that? I think the easiest way to answer those sort of questions is that a fight you would like to make? Would you like to see it?
Yes.
Then it's obviously a fight we'd like to make. You know, I think that's probably that's the easiest way to work out if fights could be made or do we want to make them. Do the fans want to see them? Yes. So therefore we will try our very best to get them made. Any more for any more? I'll just very quickly run through the ticket outlets. We're on Ticketmaster.com and Eventim.com. Ticketmaster's 0844 844 044 and Eventim's 0844 249 1000. Tickets are also available from the Manchester Arena, 0161 950 5000. Tickets are priced at £40, £50, £75, £100, £200 and £300. Thank you very much for attending today's press conference, and we look forward to seeing you all in Fight Week. Thanks.